What's up guys, my name is Jate, and this is going to be 4 quick points, mostly about gaming, nerd culture, other stuff like that, so let's get right into it. Right, so first point, is Blizzard going to make another WoW game? I asked this question because somebody asked me this question. They were wondering if they should invest in Blizzard as a company for stocks. So they were wondering if there would ever be another WoW, because in their mind, having played WoW in the past, they figured that would be their cash cow. WoW made Blizzard a lot of money. I think of it a lot as League of Legends is for Riot. It's how they got their name. It's how everybody knew them. Now what Riot's done is they've continued to expand on that, and it's pretty much the only game Riot really works on. Blizzard's done it differently. They've kind of taken the other stance where rather than just completely pouring into WoW, they've made other games, and these other games are actually wildly successful. Hearthstone, obviously, is a big one. Overwatch coming out pretty soon. Since they're making a WoW movie, it would be safe to say that they could make another WoW game, and people would be interested probably in playing it. Here's why I think that would be successful for them. They already have WoW players with WoW. They have card players now with Hearthstone. They're releasing Overwatch, so they're going to have whatever all that is. If you aren't already into WoW, I don't think people will play it, and my main reason is because they'd be so far behind. It feels like if you were to pick up Destiny right now, you can do it for sure, but you're going to be so far behind, it's going to take you quite a long time to get you to get back up to the level of everybody else. It's not impossible, and it would be a lot of fun, but I would say most people will probably shy away from it because of that reason. That being said, if they were to make another WoW, people would probably play it. And so I think they are trying to make sure that all of their money isn't in one game like it was with WoW, and they're really distributing so that they can do whatever they want in WoW, and it doesn't matter as much. If they wanted to, they could make WoW free to play. Do I think they'll do that? No. But they could. And that's the stance that they weren't able to do with the original WoW, and that shows how they've come and grown as a company up till this point. The second point is a little bit more abstract, and it's kind of hard to explain, but I feel like it's still worth mentioning. Somebody on Facebook posted a meme that said, "We don't need multiplayer games, we just need single player with story," or something along those lines. And I started thinking about it, because for me, that's actually the exact opposite of what I've been thinking recently. While I grew up with games that were super story-driven, I started realizing that I really only want multiplayer games now, and the story really comes secondary. Now that sounds bad to me as a gamer, but it still rings true, and so I'm wondering why that is. I realize that it really comes down to 2 things. 1, are you an introvert or an extrovert? And 2, why are you playing games? And I know what you're saying. You're saying, Jate, I get it. Extroverts play multiplayer, single player is going to be for introverts. But it goes a little bit further than that in my opinion. I think there are people that are introverts that will want to play multiplayer games and vice versa. The reason that I think it is if you are an introvert, what kind of gap are you trying to fill? If you have a very extroverted job, then when you come home, maybe you just want to relax. You don't want that extroversion because you're an introvert, and so that's your time to relax, is by playing single-player games because you have an extroverted job. Now, reverse it, say that your job is introverted. As an introvert, that would make sense. You work at a desk, you don't really talk to people, you go home, maybe you want to get your fix. Now you're going to play an extroverted game, you're going to play a multiplayer game, and the reason for that is so that you can play, get some interaction, and turn it off whenever you want to. I came back a day afterwards just to record this again with all the setup, the microphone and everything, just because it wasn't in focus. So I won't tell anybody if you don't. Point 3. I was speaking with Alan Meeks, our Nintendo guru in the city, and I made the point that Nintendo's demographic was younger maybe than Xbox and PlayStation, and that would help them because Xbox and PlayStation tend to go for a little bit older demographic where Nintendo takes the younger demographic. There's probably more rated E for everyone games on Nintendo platforms than any other system. If that assumption is correct, then my next point is kind of even more of a stretch, but I'm still going to make it. Does Nintendo actually make more money by releasing fewer games? My thought is, if Nintendo was to hype up multiple games throughout the year, their demographic being younger may not be able to purchase them. Since most of the demographic probably doesn't have a stable full-time job, that means they're going to get most of their games on Christmas and on their birthday. Those are at least when I got my games as a Nintendo player growing up. So if they were to overhype multiple games, then that could cause confusion whenever they try to decide what to purchase. But by really overhyping a few games, that means there's a few Nintendo games that almost any house that you go to, everybody will have, which means that those few games always have multiplayer available as an option. If you go to Super Smash Bros., if you go to Mario Kart. So I guess my point is, I kind of wonder if Nintendo doesn't make more money by releasing fewer games and putting more advertisement into those few games than overhyping a ton of games. And my fourth point, people on Facebook have been asking each other, should Dark Souls 3 have an easy mode? No. They've gotten the card players with Hearthstone onto their Blizzard client. They've gotten the Dota players. They don't have Dota anymore.